That's fine. Small torso.
Trying to work out who I should direct the first question to. Congratulations, Ben. I'll start with you, Rhyce. How did you go from kicking 14 points last week to generating the type of effort and consistency in attack tonight across 4 quarters?
Good question. Last week was really disappointing. We went to work during the week. We had some really good discussion about how it would look, how we wanted it to look, both from a coaching point of view and with the players. And we went out there and produced our style of play, and that's what we wanted. And that's our standard out there tonight. And I'm really proud of the boys' efforts to respond after last week.
Is there a bit of a criticism sometimes of the Roos, though, that you do need to have something to get you going? I mean, it's happened a few times this year where you had a slower start, coaching change, and you got going,
yep.
And it sort of dropped off. I mean, is that a fair criticism?
Yeah, I think I'd like to shy away from that if I possibly could, as a club and as a team. I think the good teams stand up all the time, and the anomaly is the one that is the bad loss. But generally they're going really well. We don't want to be responding off the back of that all the time. We want to be responding each week as a good team to play good footy, consistent footy, and the type of footy we play tonight.
Rhyce, was there a particular moment or initiative this week where you got the boys together to discuss the plan tonight, or was it just business as usual?
No, it was pretty business as usual, really. We did a review. The coaching staff went to work. We got together on Monday, and as per normal, reviewed the game, and then went to work again. I think our defence tonight and our pressure at the contest was superb, and for periods there it was elite, and that's really, really pleasing. And I am a defensive coach. The attack will take care of itself on the back of that, hopefully, and that was the case.
Ben, had you ever kicked 10 at any level before?
Nah. Nah, I was actually a ruckman when I used to play junior footy. I only transitioned to being a forward when I moved over to play for Werribee in the VFL. So, yeah, nothing like tonight. But I'll tell you what, it was easy being a forward with the kind of footy and the kind of ball movement that we were playing tonight. I think definitely credit to the mids who are just unbelievable. I mean, Goldie played, one of the games of his life, and he's back to some of the form that made him an All-Australian a few years ago. And our defenders have been solid all year and stood up again. So, it makes it easy to be a forward when we're doing that.
Ben, I think Jack Riewoldt bagged a big bag last year, but tell us about the confidence, the momentum effect of getting a big bag like that. Obviously, as the night progressed, you must have just got more and more confident.
Yeah, no, it was an exciting night. It was fun being out there and playing, and that's great. I think, like I said, that when the ball movement is coming in like that, it makes it a lot easier to be a forward, and really difficult to defend against. And it was in stark contrast to last week, where our ball movement fell away from us a bit. So, we've got to make sure that we've got one more week of the season, but then over the pre-season as well, we've got to make sure that we're playing the kind of footy that we want to play on a consistent basis, and not going away from what makes us a good team. And we play footy like we do tonight, I think we can beat anyone.
Did the fact that you were lining up for your 10th enter your mind in that last quarter?
I might have done, just for a split second. It's hard not to. I was saying to Shaw on the way here, actually, I did my goal kicking as usual before the game, and I just felt like I was kicking him really well. So, I don't know whether that, sometimes you feel like you're kicking them really well and you go out there and you do nothing. So, maybe not read too much into that. But yeah, like I said, it was a great night for us, a great night to be a forward. And I mean, Nick Larkey as well kicked 5 goals. And I've loved playing with him. I've loved playing with Cam Zerha. Nathan Rovac came in tonight, did some really nice things. Taron Thomas is going to be a young star of the game. So I think we're building a really good thing. As I said before, we've just got to do it a bit more consistently.
Rhyce, Todd Goldstein's a bit stiff. I mean, probably best on ground any other night. had a phenomenal like stats-wise, he's blown it up.
Yeah. Well, I said to the boys before, I don't like to single out individuals, but they all mentioned it anyway. Like Goldie's first quarter was unbelievable, and the way he went about it against some quality rucks, his clearance work. I think he's had 9 clearances himself. I think he had 5 maybe in the first quarter, which really set us up. But then his ability to get outside the contest and provide us with options and overlap was.
17 scoring.
Yeah, and
Most of anyone.
I think that's what, as Brownie said before, that's Goldie when he's at his best, and he's been teetering on playing like that all year, and he's been really consistent for us. But now that's another step, and I'm rapt for him because he's a great fellow. He's a North Melbourne man, and I'm rapt that he's playing good footy.
Rhyce, I'm mindful that you've just started permanently, so you might be turning your focus to some involvement in this management. But are you guys confident you can keep Todd? I know there's been ongoing discussions lately, and I've reported they were close, but is it close?
I'd hope so. We're in discussions with Todd all the time, and I'm pretty sure he hasn't done himself any harms in terms of the contracts now, which is not great. But no, look, Todd's been open with us. We've been open with him. We're hoping to get something done very shortly.
Just going back to the Nick argument, what's it been like to have him come into the cell? A few rounds into the season, what difference has it actually made for you?
Yeah, Larks is. I mean, he won the Frosty Miller last year in the VFL, which is absolutely no mean feat. But as soon as he walked into the club, I knew that I wanted to play with him because of the way he moved. He's just able to find a way to mark balls that he has no right to mark. And when I saw him come into the club and he was doing those things with a body that was pretty stick thin at the time, he's stacked weight on. I think he might have a couple more kicks to put on over the next pre-season. But to do what he's been doing this year, it definitely makes it a lot easier for me. And kicking goals, getting on the scoreboard, but the amount of work he does up the field as well, providing contests, getting the ball to ground, going to the ruck as well to give Goldie his chop out. I love playing with Larks and hope to for a long time to come.
You're noticing a lot less double teams, triple teams than you were copying early in the year?
Oh yeah, for sure. And it's not just Larks as well, as I said before. You got Cam Zerha, Taron Thomas, Taylor Garner. You got Higo dropping forward as well, which is pretty nice to have a player of his ilk in the forward half with us, and it definitely makes it a lot easier for me when we've got multiple scoring options, which is probably something that we've lacked a little bit over the last couple of years, and I think those guys will just continue to grow. I mean, most of them, Taron, Cam, Larks, they're all really in their first year. They had little tastes over the last couple, but they'll only grow from here and they'll only become better. So, hopefully it's just all up from here for us.
Rhyce, were you surprised that Scott Lycett wasn't playing for Port Adelaide? Because I guess Goldstein had a massive game out, but Scott Lycett's a premiership winning runner.
I don't really know. I don't really know how to answer that. I know Laddams has been playing some really good footy, and Paddy Ryder's a superstar. So they picked their mix, but for Goldie to do that, and I'll just keep pumping him up because it was an amazing game. It was a really important game for our footy club on the back of what we did last week, and he stepped up, and he stepped up from the first bounce, and that's all I worried about, and he was huge for us today.
Obviously a team game, you're 4 clear now in the common medal. What does that mean to you? Does it mean anything at all?
No, not really. I think it's been something that's been, it's come up towards the end of the year, the last couple of years. But I try as much as possible not to focus on that. We're trying to build something at this club, and we have been the last couple of years. And I think I just try to do whatever I can to make sure that we keep the wheels turning over in the right direction. And Shaw's come in. And I think we've got a real opportunity to build something pretty good over there. And it's disappointing that we didn't make finals this year because I think we're a team that could have made a dent in finals. Our best football, like you saw tonight, is up there, and can beat any team. So you know, as I said before, we're just going to do it more consistently. We've got a base now to build on, and I want to be a part of building that. So that's all I'm focused on.
Rhyce, can you appreciate a game like Ben's as it's unfolding, or are you concentrating on other things?
Yeah, no, I knew he'd kicked a few, but I didn't know that he'd kicked that many. I think he had 6 at half time, I think someone said. But what I know about Brownie is that he, as he said before, he doesn't concentrate on that, and when it's not his turn, he knows it's not his turn, and he'll play a role within that, and that's the key to a good forward line, and something we've got an opportunity to really build on. But 10 goals, that's pretty special. That doesn't happen very often. I don't think anyone's kicked 10 this year, so it's I think the highest is 7 goals. So it's a superb effort, and it's a full credit to Brownie. No one works harder on his craft than Brownie does. So he deserves all the rewards he can get.
What about Mason Wood earlier this week? Could be up for trade. I mean, do you see him as a part of the club's future?
Oh, those discussions are ongoing, and I think it's part of the business now. The direction the AFL wants it to go, the free agency and the player movement, it's going to play a big part, and I reckon it's probably going to be as big as this year as it has ever been. So I'm not going to comment on individual players, but I certainly will be open and honest with those that need to be. And look, tonight we played a team that we thought could beat Port Adelaide, and it didn't work because Paul Ahern pulled out before the game. So, but we got the job done, and that's really pleasing.
What is the news on Paul and also Judd Anderson and his parent?
Yeah, so Paul, he was a bit tight in the hammy beforehand. Like, I hadn't done anything, but there's no risks, and you can't go in with 21 fit players and carry anyone because the teams are just too good. Robbie Tarrant, he's got a bit of a sore ankle. He thinks he should be right, and Jed, he was a bit tight in the hammy as well. So we just took no risks towards the end, and that was a pretty smart move, I reckon.
Thanks all.
Thanks, guys.